Hey everybody, you're watching Chase Grill Chill. Jim Burnworth reporting for duty on the beach this morning. We're in Long Beach, Washington in the Pacific Northwest, and this is kind of special because there's only a few places on earth that you can chase razor clams, the most yummy clam of clams, and I'm going to be showing you some different techniques. I'm going to be showing you how to use them with a tube like this, the Claminator gun, and then also the commercial way that the commercial diggers actually go out with a special angle on a little clam shovel just like this. And then we're going to Long Beach, and there's a rumor that Chase Grill Chill has showed up with their famous clam chowder, and we're going head-to-head competition. This is it. This is the day of days. The beach is laid down, the sun is out, and we're gonna enjoy ourselves. Let's chase some clams. Hey guys, clamming is just like when you go fishing. The fish aren't everywhere, the deer aren't everywhere, the elk aren't everywhere, and the clams literally aren't everywhere. Now this is a very good populated beach. They regulate it really well with the fishing game department. But when you're looking for a place, you're driving up the beach and there's miles and miles and miles. By the way, this is one of the few places on earth you can actually drive. And you find a spot where you think, oh, the beach is always flat. Well, it's not. The curvatures and the ocean topography out there create these little valleys, and then that in turn creates these little eddies here on the beach. You know, think about a little larva gets floating around in the water, and then it catches one of these edges right here. And as you can see, we've almost got like a funnel, and that funnel has created a spot right here on these little ledges, and that's where those larvae kind of like dig into the sand and they start their lives. So right here is a perfect spot to be able to find that. So this is a great starting point to be able to find some clams. And now I'm going to show you what we're looking for. We got our very first clam that's actually showing. Check this out right here, you guys. You can actually see the indentation in the sand like this. There are basically three types. One with a hole, another one with a little indentation like this, and a lot of times they'll be raised. What we're looking for is something that's fairly good size and big enough to represent a decent sized clam. Now remember, when you're clamming, it doesn't matter what you dig up. If you dig them and break them, if you dig a small one, you dig a big one, you have to take them all home. So what I'm looking for is the right size show in order to find a mature 3-year-old clam. The very first thing I do when I start clamming is I look around and I see if I can find anything completely obvious. And if I don't, I actually take the butt into my shovel and I walk backwards and I just go ahead and I pounce on the ground, and there's one right there. So I just created a little indentation, and a lot of times you see them squirt right out of the ground, but I watched that clam right there dig into the ground, and he got disrupted by me pulling that off. So I'm gonna put it to my back. I'm gonna go ahead and mark over the top just like that, and I'm gonna slightly create an angle, and then I'm gonna go ahead and leave it down. I'm gonna grab it. I'm gonna get it down in a good ways. I'm gonna grab a little hole for a vacuum suction pump, and I'm gonna see if that clam is right there. And there it is. There we go, guys. So that right there is a totally mature clam, and that right there is a razor clam. Anybody want a bite? Want a bite? Arr, that's it right there. Our number one. We've started chasing and grilling and chilling. Well, we got the chase part figured out. We at least got one to eat. Okay guys, we got one right there. Just showed us where he was. We got a little bit of water. It's kind of tricking us, but again, he's right there. We're gonna go ahead and give him a dig. See, it sucked the water right out of the sand right there. Most likely, there's our clam. That's it right there. Now this is probably about a 2-year-old, and perfect for eating. Here's a brief look at just some of the adventures we're going to be on. Thank you so much for being here and all of your support. It means a ton. After 15 years on television, I'm really proud to become a YouTuber. I want you to ride shotgun on all the adventures, so hurry quick, run, jump in the truck. Please, if you would, it would mean a ton if you'll subscribe and push the bell icon to see all my new uploads. Again, thank you so much for being here on Chase Grill Chill. There's one right there. See how it just pinched in? Now that looks a little bit too small for me, so I'm gonna go ahead and pass on that one. Okay, a clam shovel basically is just a round tube, but it creates vacuum. In fact, this is a special technology that they've actually invented that breaks the seal around this round sphere, and that little bitty tube on the side breaks that vacuum and allows it way easier to be able to put it in the sand and take it out of the sand. So if you're looking for a clam shovel, this is definitely something that you should actually look at. They're a little more expensive, but it's totally worth it. And if you've got some women and children that aren't super strong, this really does help. And also right here is the vacuum side of the tube. Right here there's a little hole, and that hole is what I do is I put my finger over it and it creates a vacuum and it pulls it right out. So I'm gonna go ahead and not block it. Again, I'm gonna position myself over this hole right here. I'm gonna give it a slight slant, then I'm gonna run it down there. Now, this sand is dry and those razor clams have a harder time getting away from me, but I'm gonna go ahead and, they're not real deep today. I think because the surf isn't very, oh, I just saw him down there. Give him one more. A little deeper than I thought he was. And that right there is a real razor clam, you guys. Now the other thing about a razor clam that is super cool, we're gonna open them up. I'm gonna teach you how to clean them and how to eat them. But the other thing is you see this black, and in some clams they'll get blacker and blacker and blacker. And what that's from is the actual iron in the sand. And it's not a bad thing. They a lot of times call it like a mossback clam. But again, this is a really tasty clam, even though it's a little bit darker. Just absolutely extraordinary. That there is a mature clam. You can really see how old it is. The very first one is their largest growth right here in the back, their first year. And then you can see the coloration. So this is basically a 3-year-old mature razor clam, exactly what we're looking for, completely healthy. What an extraordinary little, yummy, little tasty little thing. Now another indication that there are razor clams around, behind me you see this brown waste in the water. That is from an accumulation of razor clams actually eating, and then they leave that waste deposit. So this isn't a bad thing, it's completely healthy, and it's something that we're looking for. So obviously there is a lot of clams on this particular spot out in the beach with the amount of waste right here in the water. Today we're Claminators, and today's sponsor is from the Claminator. They build a whole bunch of stainless steel, really cool parts right here in Washington State to be able to do this. I had to make me a little bit longer shovel, and I use a tap on the back end, and then this is like a commercial style Claminator gun, and I'm going to show you how to dig this. Now this is about not breaking the clam, but when you're commercially digging them, you can a lot of times dig them much quicker. And so right here's a hole, it's a show. It looks like a good one, it looks like a really nice big clam in there. I'm gonna go about 6 inches off of that, and I'm gonna go ahead and put the shovel down. And then I'm gonna dig that out. And then I'm gonna go again, and I'm putting that shovel just right there next to that clam. Aha! There he is. They're hiding from us. We've got to chase them. They can't hide for long. They left their footprint right here in the sand. What a great day, guys. Look at this. It's absolutely beautiful. I want to encourage you to get outside. This is what life's about breathing the fresh air and going on an adventure that you've never done before. So I'm hoping you're going to be able to use these techniques and be able to do it yourself. This right here is one of the yummiest little clams. You might throw your nose up at a clam. Don't knock it until you try it. I'm telling you, this is a tasty little critter. Look at that, yum yum. All right, here we go. This works a lot better in the actual surf, much earlier in the tide, where you can actually dig down and get the majority of the sand out of here. And a lot of times in the water, you gotta dig pretty fast because those little razor clams can really motate down in the sand. So when you start digging, got to go at it pretty quickly. What a whopper. Look at that. An absolute whopper. Not from Burger King, from Long Beach. All right. Hercules. Look at that, you guys. Absolutely perfect. Again, when you throw that clams gun over the top of it, make sure you're marking them correctly so you don't go down on the clam. Again, the clam, here's the beach, right? Here is where the sand dunes are. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you exactly the way they're laying. They're actually laying in the sand like this. Their necks will extend about this long above their body. If the surf is really calm, like it is today, they'll actually be up high and they'll just be feeding, and they take that neck right over the top, and that little debris that runs back and forth over the top is what they're feeding on. And if the surf is really volatile, then a lot of times they'll be a lot further down. They may not have fed on that tide, but today it's real calm, so they're not very deep. I would say the clams are about this deep. So again, they're angled slightly. So when you go ahead and put the clam gun over the top of it, and it's down here like this, right? You want to be able to create that same entry point over the top of the clam. And right there, you'll get one that's not broken. When you break them, they're still tasty. You just have to do a lot more cleaning and run the sand out of them. Even though there's sand everywhere, billions and billions of particles, inside of these clams is really, really clean. All right, guys, you can see the marking around the hole right here, and it's a little bit of raised. The water came in. This clam wasn't feeding very long ago. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna mark over the top. We're gonna give her a push. Run her all the way down. Now this one, in my opinion, might be a little bit deeper. I'm gonna go down as far as I can. Give her a push. And there we go. Look at that. Look at that. Just absolutely extraordinary. They're so beautiful. Washington State is doing such a great job at working on this shellfish down here. You know, they really regulate when we can do this, and they're healthy, and there's lots of them. And today there will be over 6,000 people on the beach. Think about that. 6,000 claminators out clam digging. So absolutely extraordinary. All right, everybody. Now I put down the shovel for just a minute and I grabbed the clam gun. It's been pretty effective this morning. And I'm gonna go ahead and stomp. So you don't have to have a shovel with you to be able to stomp. You can also use your feet. You can stomp back and forth like this far apart, really paying attention to your field of view until you see one of them. Now we're in the surf. The tide's actually reversed. It's coming in. Now, those of you that have never spent any time on the beach, there's 2 tides a day. There's 2 lows and 2 highs in 24 hours. There'll always be a high tide and a low tide. What you're looking for is like a minus tide, something that's completely minus. And when it's in the negative digits, then you know that it's going to be a good clam tide. Then you have to look at the weather. You have to determine what the surf level is. And also the moon phase can also play a big factor in picking the perfect tide for that clam dig. And night digs can be a lot of fun too. So it doesn't have to be done in the daylight. You can get up early, get up late, maybe grab a flashlight, head out with your friends and see how many clams you can catch. This is one of the funnest little things to introduce a new family member to. You can bring the little kids down to the beach, they can dig around in them, and when they find a clam, they're just so excited about it. There he is right there. Now I made a mistake. I clipped that shell just by a little bit. Wasn't paying attention on the initial run down there. Again, I didn't position them perfectly and I didn't have enough angle on it and I just clipped them. This is still a really good razor clam. And remember, everything that you catch, regardless whether it's broken, goes in your take. Oh, you guys, you can see right here, This is that raised I was talking about. Today they're not really raised up. I think because we're so late in the tide, they're done feeding and they're down lower. Here comes some water. Now, it ran over the top. This is gonna happen to you. Now, I've actually alerted this clam because I walked on it, but I can still see a little tiny indentation right here where he was. So I'm gonna keep an eye on him. And it may not show again. I might have lost that clam for good. I don't want to break him, but I've got him right here. Here we go, we're going in. We're going in. Oh, look, you can see, there's one right there, there's one right there. Oh, I put too much angle on that thing, I might have missed him. Amateurville over here. Amateurville. Yep, I missed him. They can swim so fast, you guys, when they're in the water like this. So, if you're just beginning, you're better off working in the dry sand. Oh man, clam 1, Jim 0 on that one. Now, this is really cool. When you're working in the water like this, all of it becomes volatile. So a lot of times these clams are stacked together. When they're stacked together and you put it in the ground, you can actually see where more of them start to pop up. Like this one right here. Check this out, you guys. Go back, go back, go back, go back. There we go, right there. Here's one. And I marked it before it went down. Okay, now, it's got a lot of water in that sand right now, so that clam can dig pretty quick. Not quick enough for the Claminator. Look at that sucker. Yeah. Good for fish bait. And if you don't have a girlfriend, just invite her over for some clam fritters. You might actually get a marriage proposal out of it. I'm spending some time here on the beach today. It's an absolutely glorious day. We got a little bit of wind in our face. Got a little cold on our skin. Our hands are a little cold. And it's reminding us that we're alive right now. This is like one of the last places on earth that's not polluted, you know? This is still the Pacific Northwest. It's cold. It can be rugged. It can be remote. We get a lot of water down here. And right now, in fact, not only, I don't know, about 10 miles up the beach right here is the Columbia River, where the mouth of the Columbia River meets the ocean. More ships sank there than any other place in the world. One of the most volatile places on earth to actually run, you know, in and out of the port. But right here today is the reason to be alive. It's just really extraordinary. I'm just loving this. All right, back to clamming. I'm getting a little too romantic. I forgot why we're here. We're here to find clams, and everybody has already gone and left on the beach, and every 12-year-old has already got his limit, but I'm slacking over here. I'm slack-a-jacking. You can really see that waste in the water right here. See all the bubbles that are actually being created? That right there is from clams actually feeding. A lot of people think, oh my gosh, I'm gonna stay out of the brown water. But it's part of a healthy habitat, and that just shows you how many clams are down here and how many clams are actually feeding. Really extraordinary. Look at this right here, guys. This is evidence that there are Dungeness crabs. Dungeness crabs really migrate and are in the sand, and a lot of times they'll dig their way down. This is a Dungeness. It's not the snow crab. It's not the king crab that you might have eaten in a restaurant. This is the Dungeness crab, and in my opinion, the most tasty crab pretty much on earth. It only lives in Washington, California, Oregon, and Alaska. And the population is really, really healthy here. In fact, here on Chase Grill Chill, we're gonna be chasing these. You're gonna have to look back and learn all about them, but absolutely extraordinary. And there are body parts up and down the whole coastline here, just showing that it's a healthy habitat. They're right there. There's a Dungeness. All right, down for the count. We're going in. We're going in as fast and as hard as we possibly can. Oh, that sand is dry. Give her a push. Number one. Oh, I can see the clam in the hole. Oh, whopper. You know, once you start clamming and you start learning, you really realize what you're looking for. This is a slight indentation, and obviously the water has really allowed me to barely see the outside of this. But that most likely means that that clam potentially would be a little higher in the sand. So I'm gonna run it in here. Oh, look at him right there, you guys. You can see him working his digger right there. Oh man, just an absolutely extraordinary. This is a really special day, you guys. I mean, we're out here, got a beautiful ocean that's completely flat. The clams are up feeding. We have a negative tide. And what really fills my heart today is there are over 5,000 families on the beach today celebrating in the glory, you know? And everybody's gonna be, you know, eating inadequate clam chowder. Of course, I'm gonna be making the best clam chowder. Well, I think we got a lot of worms in here. Yeah, whatever you dig, you gotta keep. Well, right now, I'm the world's tallest clam digger with the world's smallest clam. I mean, we're a match. All right, here we go. Right over the top. You can see it break the vacuum. It's really weird how the outside of the seal right here breaks the vacuum with that tube, and it allows it way easier to run it up and down. Now, it should have been a little more at an angle, but we'll get in there. And there he is right there. Ah, look at that, you guys. Look at that. That's awesome. We're successful today. We're not always successful when we're outside, but as far as the chasing part, we're doing okay. And now we got the grill, and then we're gonna spend time chilling, and we're gonna reflect on the day. I'm telling you, I'm not doing very hot. I'm getting so heavy that this thing's like got a baggage to it, so over the shoulder it goes. I'm telling you, our catch is getting heavy over here. Heavy. We're heavy in it. I mean, we're catching Washington gold, gentlemen. Who wants the yellow stuff when you can get the clams? All right, this whole beach, look at it all. There's food everywhere, the byproduct of clams. We're gonna be out here in the surf. We're gonna be looking around. When the tide first turns and we're out here just like this, guys, what we wanna do is we wanna be as far inland as possible as it starts to move out. And then as the tide progresses, we can go back up on the beach again. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna look for some clams here. Gonna do some tapping. Oh, I think I'm a little too far out. These commercial diggers, they do this for a living. They're so fast at it. And now with the water, oh my gosh, you guys, look at that. That's a real one right there. Did it with the shovel. Got him with the shovel. I'm telling you, bigger clams with a shovel. And that's living proof right there. Look at that, you guys. We're gonna eat good tonight. That's what it's all about. About eating fresh. About going and getting yourself. It's in our DNA. You know, we're all hunters and gatherers. We're all chasers. That's what we want to do. We want to be outside. We want to get our hands dirty. That's what life's about. Kids spending too much time on their phone and not doing enough clam digging, in my opinion. Well, now the limit today is 20, and I just need enough for my clam chowder. And I'm not one to take more than I really need, because if I go and I catch 20 and I eat 10, I'm gonna tell myself I really don't have to go today because I got another 10 in the freezer that I can pull out and eat with. But if I only take what I need, I'll be able to come back out on the beach and do it again. Oh, Ted. got burned. I'm telling you, that water, you got to be fast. No go. Oh. You get some muscles. You need some spinach. Get the muscles up. It's good when you don't find them. That means you get to dig again, see? I mean, if you only came out and wanted to dig 20 holes, I really want to dig 40 holes to get 20 clams. All right, everybody. All right, that's the end of the chase part of the show, you guys. We have just enough to be able to throw some in a clam chowder pot, and then a few extras to be able to fry up. And what an extraordinary morning. So now it's all about head-to-head competition. We're gonna clean these up, and we're going after the title for clam chowder. We're a Claminator. We're claminating. That's it. Let's do it. Onward, upward. It's time. Well, everybody, here we are. There are 12 head-to-head competitions with the clam chowder. Unfortunately, no one's looking right now. Maybe I need to like grab some clam chowder and taste them myself to see if I, if even in the ballpark. I mean, this is like world renowned. This is the clam chowder mecca. Like, this is where it all began. Like, my great-grandparents lived here and they actually made clam chowder. All the restaurants have clam chowder. Everybody uses the acclaim of this competition right here in Long Beach to sell more clam chowder. So they wear the badge proudly on the wall inside the restaurants, and this is it. This is it. Meeny, meeny, miny, mo. This one is the one I think should go. I'm hoping.
Okay, my apologies. First place, drum roll, anybody? Julie, number one. She was number one. Kaylee. All right, good job. There's your 125. And third place is Holly. Everyone did great. The chowder smelled absolutely delicious. I just wish everyone else was able to taste them, but unfortunately, that isn't the case. There's your clam trophy. My husband actually carves those, so anyway, just a... Thank you, husband. Yes, thank you, husband. He's taking a nap.
I did not win this. This is not mine. I have borrowed it, and I'm taking a picture with it. I mean, if you wanted to win a trophy in your lifetime, this is it. Not the ASA, not the World Champion Archery Indoor Association. It would definitely be the clam chowder competition in Long Beach. So, unfortunately, the men did not show up. I mean, we lost. 3 women won, the first, the second, and the third, but we're going to work at it again. It was super fun being out with everybody. Chase Grill and Chill is going to be back next year. We're going to go at it again. I'm going to practice more. And right now, I think I'm going to go talk to those ladies and see if I can get their recipes and see if I can learn something. We've done some special things on Chase Grill Chill, but I'm telling you, this grill right here is unlike anything we've ever done. This is a gigantic stainless steel fry pan, and we're gonna be frying up some clam fritters. So we're gonna get at it. We've got a lot of hungry people and we got a lot to feed. What we call a clam fritter. No, it is not a cookie. A lot of times you can use saltine crackers, some kind of a breading. A lot of times you add a little egg and consistency and you grind the clam up and you can create a fritter like this and then you fry it. It's really, really awesome. That's what everybody's standing around for right here. And so that's basically the Washington State cookie, a clam cookie. If you guys were here, I'd give you one. Who wants a clam fritter?
Yeah! All right.
You've been patiently waiting.
I have.
She's not very patient.
Yeah, thank you so much for your service, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Aha!
Sorry, I'll trade you. Get one for my husband.
Oh, here it is, the official taste test. Gonna break that thing in half. Look at that right there. Absolutely extraordinary. My mom always told me not to talk with my mouth full, but pretty good. I wish you guys were here. If you've never eaten a clam fritter, you got to get it done. Thank you for spending time with us. This is a special place on earth. Not even 5 miles from here, my mom kissed my dad for the very first time in a little town called Elwaka, Washington, right on the mouth of the Columbia River, in a little fish cannery my dad used to work at. The place has always been a holy grail. All the salmon and the huge gigantic sturgeon and just the atmosphere of being here in the West is something special. So I'm so proud to be able to share this with you today. Thank you so much for watching Chase Grill Chill. We'll see you tomorrow.